Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to my first news and updates video. I talked to you guys about this in the last video I made about making these weekly. Basically what they're going to be is showing you guys the notable points of the dev Q&As. I know a lot of people can't watch those, so it'd be pretty beneficial to have like the best points put together in a single video. So I'm going to be mentioning that, and also towards the end I will be mentioning the new updates. This week you'll see it is Calling Pets and Dead Man Death. So I'll be showing those, and I will also be mentioning the requirements for Monkey Madness 2, which does come out next week. So make sure you guys look at that so you know what to do before it comes out. Should be pretty fun to do with a bunch of people. So let me know if you guys enjoy this video, and I'll continue to do it every week. But let's go ahead and start with the dev Q&A. So the first thing talked about on the Q&A this week was the redesign of Zeah. Now the picture you guys will see on screen right now was actually made by a guy named Gentle Tractor, and it was posted on Reddit. Got like 4,500 upvotes in a day or something. If you guys look around on it, it looks really nice. This is a pretty big expansion too. Sadly, Mod Matt K actually responded to this, and he said that it looks really nice, but basically the benefits won't outweigh the time investment because of the amount of time it would take to put into it. And with the way Zay is going right now, they don't really see it as being the best thing to put time into. However, they did take his design and rework it into something they believe they would be able to do. So that is a picture you guys will see on screen right now. It does look very clean and it works around the current map very nicely. So in the next picture, you will also see that the same map has gray areas on it. Basically, the gray areas would be phase 3, and what you guys see non-grade would be phase 2, which is set to come out sometime in September, and they believe they can do that. Another thing Matt K mentioned was that it made it look very nice, but as you guys know, there's not much content on Zeah right now, so it's kind of dead. So there's going to be a new poll coming out next week about new content, and you guys should definitely go vote on that because I think with enough time and changes to Zeah, it could be something really nice. So make sure you guys go and check out the polls next week and vote on that. So another interesting question asked this week on the Q&A was basically filling in all the black areas of the map. I know a lot of people might see this as like an old school feel or something because we've seen the black bars and we've run into a corner all the time, and it's just a big empty void. But this picture is actually somebody that filled in all the black areas of the map. I think it looks really nice, and it'll be something really cool to make the map feel, just more finished. Because right now it kind of seems really weird, looking at the black, even though it's been there for so long, we're all used to it. Basically, the response to this was that Mod Ghost would be the only one working on it right now, so it's not really worth the time investment. However, they did say that on May 23rd, they're getting a new artist, and this is the first time they've actually mentioned it too. So it may be possible then when we have another artist. I believe that would make it 3. I'm not sure yet. I can't really remember what all of the mods do. I think Ghost actually might be the only one now. I think there was another guy, but he left. I think it was Alfie or Alfred. I'm not sure. I can't really remember, but this is a really cool idea. I think they should definitely work towards doing this in the future. So let's move on to the next part of the Q&A. So the next idea, basically on the Q&A, was a new drop from Cerberus would be a new crystal that you combine with Bando's boots, and basically make Bando's boots the tankiest boots in the game. Would just add defense to them. People talked about having it come from Cerberus, but the devs decided that Cerberus drops enough stuff already, so they'd rather see it come from something else. Also, they were thinking of a different name to it. I think the guy who asked the question mentioned something about rigorous boots, which I think is a pretty cool idea. So make sure you guys look out for more of this in the future in case they decide to continue with it. I really hope they do add this to the game in some form because I think it would be pretty cool. So let's move into the next question. So this one's not really that big. I said that I'd add it in here anyway because you guys might notice this change in game and not, if they don't do an announcement on it or something. Basically the Dragon Defender, as you guys know, it's kind of pink looking, and somebody asked if they can change it to make it look, more like other dragon items. So as you guys see on the screen, he's talking about the two Dragon Defenders. The one on the right is the one in game currently, and the one on the left is the one that they'd change it to. They did a straw poll, and a lot of people were for changing it, so I believe this update will be in the game sometime soon. So I found this next one pretty interesting, so I decided to include it. Basically, it would be combining the Staff of the Dead with the Saradomin Light to get the Staff of Light. As you guys know, who probably played pre-EOC, Staff of Light is on that game. So this wouldn't affect really anything except for you'd be able to auto-cast Sarah Strike with it. If you guys don't know what Saradomin's Light is, it's basically a drop you get from Sarah. I believe it's like 1 in 120 something, or 1 in 254. So you'd combine that, the Saradomin's Light would disappear, and basically you'd have a Staff of Light. As I said, it would have identical stats to the Staff of the Dead, except for the auto-casting Sarah Strike, so I think this is a pretty cool idea. I don't know if they'll do much with it, but I hope to see it in game soon. So the final notable part to this Q&A is pretty freaking cool, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are waiting this for a really long time. I know I have. It's basically being able to add the head drops you get from Slayer to your Slayer helms to make them look different. As you guys see on screen, there's a bunch of examples. He used the Abyssal Demon, the King Black Dragon, and the Calphite. I think these look really cool, and I think if we can do these with all the head drops, it would be pretty cool. And add to the game, you'd see a bunch of different people with different helms. It would kind of add it, kind of like cosmetic skip. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think this is a really cool idea, and I can't wait to see this in the game. So on to the actual updates this week. The first thing I wanted to mention was I'm not going to be showing these in game. I'm just going to be going over these really quick because I know a lot of people actually don't take the time to look at them, read them. So the big part of this video was actually just showing the Q&A because I know a lot of people don't have time to watch that and they're pretty interested in what they talk about on it. So the ads this week are the first thing is the calling pet. They talked about this on a past Q&A. Basically, it's like a whistle option, and you click it, and it will basically call your pet to you. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's not really that useful, but it's a pretty cool addition. And the next one is the Deadman Death interface. I actually haven't looked over this much. From looking at it, what I can gather is the tabs at the top will actually tell you and show like your experience lost. If you're not Skulled, you die to a PK or you die to an NPC. So I think that's pretty cool because a lot of people joining it that haven't played Deadman mode before probably be confused on that. So I think this is really beneficial and hopefully it will get people playing. I know there's a lot of updates they're putting into it to make the deaths less harsh as well. So I think that will bring a lot of people back to Deadman mode. Now this update right here is something really nice. A lot of people use Lunars for this, so they might not actually find this very useful. I remember in the early days I did use compost a lot, so this basically lets you use compost at any time. Sometimes if you were to plant a seed and you'd like forget to compost it first, you'd basically be screwed and you'd have to sit there and wait or go put Lunars on. But now you can compost before or after, so that's a very nice addition to the game. It should make people a lot less annoyed. In terms of the other updates and quality of life, there's some pretty interesting things in here. There is less Deadman worlds now. As you guys know, there's probably not many people playing it. I remember I looked last night and there's maybe like 15 people in each world, which is pretty ridiculous. So it's good to see a bunch of these worlds move back to normal ones. They also have added a bunch of new spawns, which is really cool. They've added more Hellhounds, Gargoyles, Bloodvelds, Abbey Specs, Abbey Demons, and Necrils. These, of course, are in the Slayer Tower. And the final thing on here I find really interesting is that Monkey Madness 2 is coming out next week, guys. So if you have not done all the requirements for this, make sure you do them before then. I'll also be displaying the requirements on screen right now really quickly just so you guys can see what they are so you know what you have to do before it is released. I think they're pretty reasonable. A lot of people have been complaining that these skill requirements are too high. Being a high level, a lot of people don't think about the lower levels, and then there's a lot of people in the game that actually don't like the skill. But I think that the quest requirements and the skill requirements are pretty reasonable, so make sure you guys do these before next week because this will be pretty fun doing it with a bunch of people and trying to figure out how to do the quest without a guide. So that will conclude this week's video. Hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, let me know and I'll continue doing these every week. If you guys do notice things I can change to make them better, also let me know in the comments, as well as if I missed something notable from the Q&A or something in the updates, be sure to post those in the comments as well. New Iron Man video should be out in maybe 5 or 6 days, so I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.